Hey, welcome to Strength Side Friday, where we put out a training video every Friday, and today's topic is knees caving in. Now, knees caving in affects a lot of different types of movements and different sport. We see a lot of runners that get this kind of knee cave in, and if you bring that into doing some type of strength training like squatting or something, then this is going to put a lot of force on your knees and your hips aren't going to be functioning correctly. So what we need to do is we need to strengthen our ability to abduct our hip. And what that basically means is be able to activate these muscles that bring your leg, the femur, away from the midline, okay? So if we can activate these muscles, then what's gonna happen is now as I'm, taking a step or squatting or lunging, I'm gonna have the ability to keep this knee tracking the toe how we want it and not diving in, right? Now, any sport out there that you're playing is gonna involve some type of locomotion or some type of side-to-side movement. So this really relates to any athlete or just any general person out there that's doing some sort of exercise, okay? So we're gonna take you through some exercises here that we can practice activating our hip abductors. Now, I'm gonna start here with a clamshell on the wall. Now, the reason that we have people start with doing these on the wall is because sometimes people lose the ability to control what their pelvis is doing, okay? So if we just sit on the ground and do a clamshell here, a lot of the time we open up here and cheat like this, or we're here, right? If we get on the wall, then this really just locks our pelvis in, okay? Now because my feet are in contact with the wall, everything is locked into a good position. So I'm gonna make sure that my abs are braced here, that my ribs are down, and then from here, all I'm gonna do is just bring that knee up, keeping my big toe down, right? We don't wanna roll up like this, okay? As long as that big toe stays down, we're getting true abduction of the hip here. Now notice that this is not a huge motion here, right? Your hip does not have a whole lot of abduction, but if you're doing this correctly, you'll be feeling these lateral hip muscles engaging, okay? If we're feeling kind of the front of the thigh, stuff in here pulling, then chances are we're doing it wrong, and we need to correct positioning, make sure that my knees are stacked here, got about 90 degrees at both angles, and that my stomach is braced, okay? Abduction, boom. We're gonna run through this. Now this is a very small movement, so we can do this maybe 15 to 20 times. Now just to progress from that is we can come out from the wall. Now, hopefully we have good control over our pelvis. Now we're gonna extend this top leg out, okay? So this is more of a side-lying leg raise, all right? So now I'm increasing this lever arm, so this is gonna be more challenging to my glute med here, okay? So boom. Now what we don't want to see is we don't want to see us lifting up, this pelvis changing, or this leg like going into external rotation here. We're actually going to try to keep this foot parallel to the ground or even come through that heel a little bit on the way up, okay? That's going to make this backside turn on a little bit more, all right? Okay, next progression. Or rather, this may just be an alternative way to challenge these hip abductors again, is to get into quadruped position here, all right? I got hands right under the shoulders, knees right under the hips, and from here, what I'm gonna do is a fire hydrant, all right? So, all I'm gonna do is I'm just going to abduct out, come back in, okay? So what we don't want to see is we don't want to see a bunch of movement from the spine or the pelvis where we're doing this type of thing, okay? That's going to mean we're compensating with different muscles. So we're keeping everything as, aligned and straight as possible. We're just trying to get this abduction of the hip here, okay? Another variation of this is you can just do somewhat of a circle here, right? Now we're adding a little bit more degrees of freedom into this. You can go the other way as well. So there's different variations you can do, but if we're in this quadruped, we can do this fire hydrant-like movement to keep working those abductors. We're not done yet, we got more. So another thing we can do is we can take a little band here. Maybe you have a hip circle from Mark Bell. You can put this on. I like to throw it right above the knees. And from here, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to do a little side step here, okay? Boom. So once again, now we're in this complex position of standing actually. So now we have to really make sure that we're braced here, that we're not getting in poor positions. We're braced and we're ready to move, and then we're abducting at the hip, okay? Now don't jump to this one because you need to feel what this hip abduction feels like while you're in these kind of low complexity positions, right? And now we get in this higher complexity position and you can really make sure that this is turned on. Now the last one we're going to show you is a variation of this. Vincent actually taught me this one, and all we're going to do is we're going to abduct, get into our side step position, and then from here we're going to squat, okay? So now we can work on this hip abduction while we're also going into hip and knee flexion, which is going to be very functional for your squat or your lunge or whatever, all these big type of athletic movements that we're doing, okay? So we side step, let's squat. I can really feel these muscles working from all that activation stuff that I just did, okay? So that's it, guys. Give these a try. More often than not, I find with a lot of people that even if you're big and strong and you can squat a lot of weight, you get them doing some clamshells and they're fatiguing within 12 reps of some clamshells, okay? That's just a good sign that, you're not using the full capacity of your hip like you want to. And we want to, we want all the muscles of our hip to be strong and able to activate when we need them to. All right, guys, that's the video for today. Make sure to like and subscribe, like the Facebook page. I'll see you in the next one.